Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, somewhere in the world. My name is Yao, speaking from Edmonton, Alberta. I'm the owner and responsible for this post I'll be putting out. It's real. It's not anything you will compare. It's real. And I have been this past year now, yeah, just about a year and a few days ago that I started this business I'm doing. If it's not real, I will not continue. It's it's real, and I'm pursuing it, and with a lot of people who are doing good. I my why is why did I retired, and even though I've been getting my retirement money, but I still wanted to do business after I retired. Well, let me just give a short history about my or BM, whatever you call it. Well, it's about being an immigrant from Togo, West Africa country. My journey was from Togo. I left to early, and then I spent most of the time in Germany, trying to learn the language and do some other things so I can return to Togo. But the life and the as a Christian, as a believe on God, sometimes the life will turn a direction. But I believe in God. I believe in Almighty, and everything I do, I bless is asking for His guidance. He's showing me the way, what's the right way, and I believe in Him. So I spent some years in Germany. Then some people approached me. I was born a Catholic. My parents were Catholic. My mom Catholic. So I grew up in a Catholic school, and they told me that okay, since you came here and then. Uh, at that time, it's not easy to get a Canadian, I'm sorry, to not get a German passport. So they will not be able to grant me a passport. Even I've been here for so many years now. If they ask me if you have a choice from Canada or US, which country should I like to go? They will be able to help me to provide me uh, all the expenses and for the visa and so on. And I was living in a small town called Regensburg. Regensburg is a very old Bavarian town, very old, very conservative, and beautiful too. They have all these, museums, all different things, churches. Every corner there's a church somewhere. Every morning you hear church bells are ringing, bang, 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 bang. They remind me of those. And then, so I go to church very, almost every Sunday I have to be in church. And if not a Sunday, also maybe sometimes weekdays, there's always a Bible study. So we go there, not just me, just many of us actually. And then we go there to study Bible. And then, so one day they approached me that, they wanted to help me. If I wanted to go Germany or Canada, they will help me. So they did. And so they were doing the process, and the final they tell me, so, okay, now it's your turn. Now you have to go to embassy, Canadian embassy in Bonn. I don't know if it's in Bonn now. Bonn is another capital. I think it's a capital city at that time when I was there. I left over how many years ago? Probably some 30 something years ago. So I went to the Bonn for the interview. Everything went well, and there's okay. We contact you, go back home, and we contact you. And then ready once you have the visa, we will let you know, and you can fly into Canada. And after my interview, they actually asked me. They wasn't really actually. They just want to make sure I'm a real person. I'm the person that they're applying for this visa, and they wanted to know which city am I going to. And at that time, I didn't know too much about Canada. Uh, and then so I do some little research, and I said, okay, I think I would like to go to uh, Vancouver, BC, which is called British Columbia, beautiful British Columbia. Actually, that what actually happens is that there's a mission, there's a church that uh, There are Catholic Church that they sponsor people from other different countries, European, especially European countries, into Canada. So they say, okay, well, we have a place for you. You're gonna go. You're gonna go to Vancouver, BC. You have a sponsor that will give you a place to stay until you finalize. Actually, I got my permit, my landed immigrant before I came to Canada. My permit, which is landed immigrant at that time, and also working permit at the same time, so I was able to work. And I came here within, I think within a week or week and a half, I was to be able. I got my first job at the McDonald's. That's where I started my first job from. Fast food industry. I worked there, and I remember going to going to the interview. They said, the owner said, "Oh, okay, what are you looking for?" I said to him, my English, I said to him, give me, I want job. You give me job." And they just look at me. They look at me. They know that my English was not a good one anyway. But they accept. They understood what I was asking for, and they said to me, "Okay, you go and go write. Bring your resume." At that time, I remember resume. Give me a resume that for you're looking for the job. If you have any experience on the food industry, and I say yes, I do. So I went home. By the time I go home, my sponsor people who are staying with them, they told me that, oh, there's another employer, somebody called you about job. You went to somebody else. You went to there's a restaurant called White Spot. White Spot, actually, I think it's mainly in the western. Well, I'm trying to say west. It's mainly in Vancouver, BC. I came here for the last 20 something years. I've been living in Edmonton. I haven't seen any White Spot restaurants. I haven't seen any. But Vancouver, there's all over the place. So when I came home and I said, oh, they wanted to come and start a job tomorrow. And I was, oh, already? And I said, yeah. So I have to plan my journey to take a bus from where I live to the downtown. And I still remember the place right now, by the downtown, the West Hastings Street. West Hastings is downtown. There's a long road through the east all the way to the west, which is the middle of the downtown. Very popular place, very it's downtown, all right, it's big. And I went there, and then the guy said, okay, you start to go job tomorrow. And so now when they started training me a little bit here, a little bit there, and then there. And so the job actually I was supposed to work in the McDonald's, I didn't go back again because I have this one already. So I was happy that I got a job and I started working already. And then that's when my story started. And then finally I moved to Vancouver. I moved to Vancouver. No, no, I'm sorry. I moved from Vancouver to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada again, and I went to Jasper. Actually, I was coming. I take a train. I take no, I take a bus. There's a bus that run. The bus is still running out up to today. And I take a bus. So I was coming. Then I have to stop. We stop at the Jasper, which is a small town. And there's a Jasper's as the mountains, the Jasper Park Lodge. And I was reading the brochure there, and they said they were looking for, service person, and in that town, that's more. It's a town, and but there's have a Jasper Park, Jasper Resort. It's still there up to today. So I went there and I applied for the job. They said, okay, well, you got a job. You can start within a couple of days. I said, yes, I'm ready. So I started a job that I worked there for another maybe a few years. And then, but a few years, I've been I like big cities, so I'm thinking, I want to go to Edmonton. So I informed my employers that okay, I'll be moving to Edmonton, Alberta. This I'm talking about 20, 21 years ago. Okay, so then I left and then I came here. Actually, they give me notes for recommendation. So I went there when I came to Edmonton, Alberta. I went to a Fairmont Hotel, which is a part of Jasper Resort Hotel. So they said when I go there, I should go there, and they showed me the letter. They will employ me and give me a job. They will give me a job, which I did. I did. So I was happy, and I got a job when I came. I got a job right away at the Fairmont Hotel. That time, that's talking about 21 years ago. Oh yeah, 20 somewhere 21 years ago. So that's just my story. And then I've worked on many places, service industry, and then I retired. I didn't retire because I just want to retire. Because I retired, I was having some health issues, and I mentioned some in my podcast all the time. So that's where my journey started. My journey started because I retired, and I said, "Well, I retired now, but I need there's the bills are coming, and I have to pay the bills." So, but I don't want to go back to what I was doing before because service industry is a little bit um, a lot of long hours and early morning. By the time I 5 o'clock, I have to be at job, but I come home sometimes late. And so it's a hotel. It's a high hotel. It's one of the best hotel in Canada. Okay, they have. I think every big city they have a famous hotel there, and so on. So that's my story, to be continued. And thank you for listening to me. And then thank you again. I just anybody who wanted to know what I'm doing for a living now, to be continued. About tomorrow, I will put more stuff in there to know what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now. And so if you are retired, you are sick, that you can't go back to what we were doing before, there is another way you can do it too. Like this, what I'm doing right now, and I'm happy about it for a year now. I'm happy about it. I'm enjoying for over a year now. Okay, so if you have any question, any doubts about who I am, reach out to me. I use the four platform: the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Amen.